I honestly thought this was just going to be a generic sequel that did not need to exist, and from the start of the movie, it really seemed like that. They had a basic opening kill, killed two people mainly off screen, though we do see their bodies later, and have this generic family that's having problems. But the characters get better as the more the movie goes on. I'm rooting for the mom and the daughter to have a happy relationship. And then you just get punched in the gut when one of the strangers stabs her in the back and makes her daughter watch while she kills her. It's just such a good movie. The dad and the son you're really rooting for, even though they did make a really stupid decision. Um, Clearly just for plot reasons, but it's really fucking stupid. Where they're like, "Oh, hey, our grandparents are killed." And they're like, "Oh, that's not funny. That's not funny." And they're like, "No, it's the truth. I can't." And then eventually the dad tells the mom and the daughter to go back to the place, called the police. They did the same shit as the first movie and broke the phones. Um but for whatever reason, they decide they need to see the bodies. You know the people are dead. You believe him. You're calling the police. Why do you need to see the bodies? He says, "Do you know where it is? Take me there." Like, what? What? It's so fucking stupid. But here we go, I guess. The dad ends up crashing because one of the strangers, I think, stands in front of the car or something. I'm not 100% sure. I kind of forgot how it crashed because it's been like a week since I've seen it. Um, so the car crash, he gets like impaled. He tells his son he'll be back, but he's not because right after the son goes to go find his sister and his um go find his sister because they had already found the mom dead. They know she's dead by this point. Um, he goes to save the sister. One of the strangers gets in the car, almost methodically, just playing with him. He looks for something on the radio, just kind of sits in silence for a few seconds, then eventually just kills him. It's a very heartbreaking scene. You're really rooting for these characters, and it sucks every time one of them's killed. Um, Eventually, they find a gun, but he stupidly puts it down while tending to one of her wounds, so when they drive a fucking car through the house, he leaves the gun. So he no longer has a gun. He ends up getting into a fight with one of the strangers after hiding his sister under the house. Because they have like one of those older houses that have kind of like those weird things. I had it at one of my old houses. I don't know what it's called though, but he puts her under the house and puts the thing back. So it's not really a place most people would look. She could have been safe there, but she eventually leaves. Um, so he's fighting the girl. He actually, when he knocks her out, takes her knife, which is one of the smarter things I've seen horror characters do. They usually knock them out or think they killed them and then leave them with their weapon. It's so stupid. Even if you thought they were dead, you should not leave the weapon there. You should throw that thing as far as possible or keep it to defend yourself. So she wakes up and then he stabs the fucking shit out of her. And then he has this awesome line where he says, "I killed one of you. How does that make you fucking feel?" So then he gets into a fight with this guy. They end up winding up in the pool. He's swinging the axe at him. He's getting the axe away from him. He ends up getting him, though, with his own knife and leaves him to bleed out in the pool, the blood spreading all in the water. And man, I was like, Luke, no. And, you think he's dead. Surprisingly, he lives. His sister came out of hiding for whatever reason. I guess she got, worried about her brother, which is understandable, and pulls him out and saves him. She doesn't really tend to his wounds, from what I see. She ends up killing the other two strangers. She kills the other one rather quickly. The cops finally get there. Um, he immediately gets his throat slit. And she has this awesome fight with the girl. Almost a Ghostface like scene where she has the keys, like the first movie. But it's not as taunting. With Billy, he was, playing with her mind. It was either Billy or Stu. They wanted to make it slow. They were really fucking with her, so they end up going through the back and trying to attack her. But with this one, they're still taunting, but they're like, "Oh yeah, you have fucking nowhere to go, and I have a weapon." But she ends up having a weapon too, because she has a shotgun in there, and she ends up getting it and blasting the bitch. She fucking survives. Man, I was screaming at the screen for this movie, which I really don't really do for horror movies, but I fucking loved these characters. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, shoot her again. And she does. She ends up asking her why she's doing this, and in a twist to the first movie, instead of saying because you were home, she says, why not? And then she gets shot in the fucking face. Then she has to deal with the final one. You think she's killed him by setting him on fire, but he starts methodically driving a burning car towards her. But he's like, nah, that's not good enough. Then he gets out of the car and starts walking towards her, but his injuries are too severe. Pulls out a piece of glass and falls down. You think she's won. She's trying to go get help. This car is gonna help her. It's a mom and her kid that likes playing baseball. It was mentioned very briefly in one of their few lines, since they're minor characters that are just supposed to save her. He ends up getting in the car with her. She finds a bat, which is an homage to something that was talked about earlier about how her brother was older than her. She was little, and he wouldn't let her play baseball because he didn't think she was good enough. But if she played now, he thinks she would be really good. And they prove that with a scene. I think she like shoots a mailbox earlier in the movie, or throws something at it. Oh yeah, she throws a rock at it. Like she shows that she's good at baseball now. So when the killer gets in there, she just fucking whacks his head with one of the baseball bats that are in the back of the truck. It's such a satisfying moment. And then he dies. And they do another homage to like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, She survived, she's in the back of the truck. Then I guess she went back and got her brother after that. He survived his wounds. They're in the hospital now. And she hears knocking and the movie ends. So she's definitely gonna have PTSD, but I don't think any of them survived. Especially not the girl that got her head blown off, but the guy that got set on fire and hit with a baseball bat and all kinds of shit. Maybe the first girl, because she only really got stabbed, but I still don't think she would have survived too. It's a really cool movie, and dare I say, it's better than the original. A lot of people didn't like it because it was a very different one from the other movie, where, they were in the house methodically messing with them. Kills were more slow, but in this movie, they're fast, They take characters out fast. Another movie, it was just like a husband and a wife, and they're targeting them, fucking with them, slowly getting to them, and then eventually killing them. But in this movie, they're still fucking with them, but they're killing them pretty fast. They killed the mom like only like 10 or 15 minutes in, the dad about 20 minutes in, and they get so close to killing the others a bunch of times. It's a really heart-wrenching movie. It makes your heart race too. I fucking loved it. It might be one of my favorite horror movies now, along with You're Next and, Scream 2 and Hereditary. And yeah, I think that's about it that I have to say about this movie. It's just really good.